Good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us. I welcome you to the Nigeria M365 Community Mentorship Program, organized and put together by the Nigeria M365 community. This is the 2026 edition of the mentorship program, and this is a 4-month intensive program that is intended to help early career switchers, IT administrators, IT professionals, or even beginners who intend to kickstart their tech journey through the Microsoft 365 track. In this intensive Microsoft 365 program, we're going to be covering these following technologies: the Microsoft 365 Copilot and Copilot Studio, the Microsoft Entra ID, Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Intune, Microsoft Defender XDR, Microsoft Purview for compliance. And sessions have been scheduled to come up Saturdays and Sundays between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. This will also run for 4 months. Before I go on, I want to say a special thank you to the leaders of the community, starting with the founder, Madam Olajumoke Toriola, and the other leaders like Emmanuel Itoje, Joseph Afeso, Rafia Abdusalam, even Paul, who is here on the call, a whole lot of the others that I can't even remember to mention. So these are professionals, these are experts who have come together with this innovation, brought about this innovation to put up this opportunity for everyone to learn, to grow, and advance their career in the Microsoft 365 technologies. My name is Aishat Oshileye, and I'll be walking us through this program this evening as the moderator. I am just someone who is passionate about technology. My experience spans across Microsoft 365, Azure, and I love to help individuals and organizations unlock productivity through Microsoft 365, cloud solutions, and modern workplace technologies. I am driven by growth, community impact, innovation, and I am committed to empowering people to break into tech with confidence. Let's move forward as I introduce our speaker for today. This is Joseph Afeso, a seasoned information technology professional who proudly holds different titles, including the Microsoft Most Valuable Professional MVP, a Microsoft Certified Trainer MCT, and he has specialization across M365, Azure, and he also excels in handling complex cases for clients and customers. He mentors his team and also mentors the tech community on Microsoft Cloud technologies. Joseph Afeso's expertise is demonstrated through his impressive array of certifications, which includes the Azure Administrator, Microsoft 365 Administrator Expert, Collaboration Communication Systems Engineer Associate, the Microsoft Teams Administrator Associate, the Azure AI Fundamentals, the Azure Fundamentals, the Microsoft Security and Compliance, and Dynamic CRM Fundamentals. He's currently serving as the Community Vice President for the Nigerian 365 community. He is a content creator on YouTube, where he shares his valuable content that we all have been benefiting from He can boast of many tutorials on YouTube featuring Microsoft Cloud, various Microsoft Cloud technologies and subject matters. Please join me and give a clapping emoji, a clapping ovation. Let me just say that, a clapping ovation to our mentor, our speaker for tonight. Is one of the invaluable assets of the Nigeria M365 community. And I want to also use this opportunity to thank him for all that he has been doing for the community. He has been dishing out lots of valuable sessions. He's been sharing lots of his time, his energy, his experience, his expertise with us all in the community. So on this note, please let us give a round of applause to Joseph Afeso. I am not sure if he's joined us. Paul, please let me know if he's here, okay? Because he joined earlier on and he probably had a bit of an issue. So let's move on. Before I usher him in, let me share the usual housekeeping rules with us all. This session will be recorded and the recording link will be made available for future viewing. All our recordings are always on our YouTube channel. And please, I know your microphone is muted, right? And if you have anything to say, you can just raise your hands. You can pen down your questions until the Q&A session. Please, you can follow us on all our socials, on Twitter, on YouTube, subscribe to our channel as you watch all our recordings. Follow us on LinkedIn so that you can stay updated on all events, on all activities of the community so that you don't miss out on opportunities that might be shared. Yes, and then our Discord server as well. Please join us there for centralized management, as WhatsApp is hardly able to contain us these days. So please join our Discord server as we'll be sharing the links later on. So on that note, I will be welcoming Joseph Afeso. Thank you very much for joining us. If he's here, and yes, I will just be giving him, making it, okay, he didn't join his account. Yes, great, he's here. Thank you, Joseph, for coming and welcome.
All right, guys, good evening to everyone on the call. Aisha, thank you very much for the introduction. So guys, today's conversation is going to be very elementary. So for those who are a bit experienced, it may sound boring, but as always, I'm an advocate of the beginners because I believe that at one point, all of us were beginners. And if people did not handhold us, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are. And as a matter of fact, all of us are still beginners in one form or the other. So I'll try as much as possible to keep my conversation, especially for today, to be as basic as possible. So please, I feel there is nothing too bad to repeat if that is what will make us understand. And I want to appreciate the community that has given me the light to shine on people's path. And because I've decided to hold the light with all vigor, myself, I'm not also in darkness. So I want to appreciate everyone who has followed me on different platforms and who has been contributing to the energy that we both have and that we're pushing out there. So I want to again say thank you to everyone who stood by us to make sure that 2026 mentorship come to reality. All glory to God and the team that has decided to bring me on board today. So as earlier mentioned, I am a person who is passionate in training my colleagues. So on this call today, we have 60 plus persons here. So I want to see you as my colleagues, and I want to just see this opportunity as a ground through which we are going to be learning, right? So this evening I was having a conversation with a brother about Microsoft Teams, and then we were just having the chat, and it was first of all amazed that the word Teams, is it the same team that we're talking about, like group of people working together? Yes, of course, it's true, right? And Teams is actually, in its definition, it is called the collaboration hub, right? So just in case you want to take note of the definition, it's generally defined as the collaboration hub of M365. Not because SharePoint, for instance, is not a collaboration center, right? Or maybe some other platforms within M365 where collaboration can really take place, especially in SharePoint, right? But Teams has come to take that name as kind of arguably one of the places where people collaborate more, because if you talk about casual conversations, right, this happens in Teams, like chats to say, hey, hi, how are you? Like the very common platform that people use in M365 space is Teams. So Teams actually started off as an idea long before now. If you've heard about Link 2013, right? At one point, or even till now, you would have heard about Skype, and then sometime in 2021, Skype for Business Online was retired, and then there was a little migration into Teams. So the reason why I still see that all of us at one point are still learning is because, for instance, somebody who was an expert in Link, when we have Skype for Business Online also lands, and then later that we had teams that we all, started learning again. In August 31st, I think precisely in 2021, Teams took over, and then Skype for Business Online was retired. But if you look at the whole concept around this, it's still within collaboration that it's all about. In Teams, you have the option to call, right, someone, just like you would do in. So I want you to be looking at our discussion to be like, I don't want to call it a social media because Viva Engage would have taken charge of that. I'm looking at it as per like a chat, right? For example, like the chat and calling feature you have in your WhatsApp. So just see this for the benefit of clear understanding as a platform like WhatsApp that you use to chat. And then if you decide to call, you can decide to call someone from WhatsApp. But where this is a bit advanced is the fact that there's an integration of this particular platform with your Outlook, for example, right? With your SharePoint, for example, and then with your OneDrive, right? And then there are features that you cannot carry out here, right? Like recording your calls that you are making. And then we're having this call together, like a group call on WhatsApp. But what makes it different from now, which I believe that in the future, WhatsApp may want to adopt, but again, is where they are going to be saving this data is recording the ongoing call, right? But the feature here is that we'll have option to record our calls, we can transcribe, we can chat while the meeting is going on, we can turn on our videos, just like you would do on WhatsApp. So Teams is one technology that most professionals, I stand to be corrected, don't like talking about. It's because the troubleshooting, like looking for problems, what is causing problem in Teams sometimes can be very dicey and sometimes becomes almost like a fluke that you're able to resolve the issue. So many professionals don't appreciate, I not say appreciate, they don't really like middling themselves with issues of Microsoft Teams. But fortunately, I work as a support engineer for just Microsoft Teams for like 2 years. So within this period, we're able to somehow see a lot that has to do with Teams, which does not now equal to the fact that we know everything that has to do with Teams. No, but that actually forced us to go into the things that we ordinarily would not enjoy going into. So, but I want you to see it as simple as WhatsApp, right? As simple as your call on WhatsApp, your chat on WhatsApp, your video calling on WhatsApp. Then where we just go a bit further is, for example, if I'm sharing a file with you, where's the file going to get saved? If I'm calling you and I'm recording the call, where's the recording going to get saved? If I want to schedule a meeting now, the option to schedule meeting for now is not there on WhatsApp, right? So we can't really put it side by side, but you can schedule meeting in Outlook and then it shows up in your Teams from Teams and shows up in Outlook. Somebody messages you on Teams and then it throws you a message on Outlook. So this integration is what actually is like the advanced, will I say advanced? Yeah, advanced part of Teams that you just need to understand. The good thing is like we have something side by side that we can be comparing just so nobody get lost. That's the point I'm trying to raise. So Teams is very interesting, if I must say. And I believe that all that we are going to be having interaction with at this stage of our discussion today, we can easily relate with it. Not that by tomorrow you will not be able to relate with it again, but I'm just saying that you need to just calm down. That's what I want you to just have in your back of your mind, because we have something to relate with. There is nothing like that is going to be rocket science in all the conversations that we are going to have. This is me just trying to build a background to what we are going to be discussing about. Nothing out of the ordinary, please, for those who are beginners. And for those who are well experienced, yes, of course, you can just follow us through. And if you have contributions on the charts, if something is not well explained, you can, that's why you are here. You can quickly say, there is an update now, this is now how it works. And for you who is new, who would have a question, just pop it up. And the advantage of having people who are more experienced than you on this call will mean that we'll be able to provide detailed answers to any gray areas of your concern. Like I mentioned before, I went into this detail. The essence of our meeting is not to make somebody feel that we know a lot. All of us, all the mentors, the purpose of our coming on the call is to make sure that we're able to impact, we're able to make a change in somebody's life, right? And put on the lights on somebody's path. So enough of those background discussion. Let's go into what we have here. So if you look at my screen, which I believe is already visible to all of us, we're talking about introduction to Microsoft Teams, right? Now, from user experience to administration. Now, we are coming out to train you not to become end users, but for you to become an administrator. So what does it mean? We want you to be able to manage Microsoft Teams, decide what should happen in Teams, what should be allowed, what should be blocked, right? And then where there are issues, we want you to be able to find out where the issue is coming from. But whenever I present this part of my training, I will always liken it to a standing fan. A standing fan comes with a lot of components, the legs that's going to stand on the floor, depending on how you can have a circular, you can have, different designs, right? You have the head of the fan. And when you buy the fan, the blade is not going to be tightened to the head. So you be the one to bring the baskets out, you screw them, then you put the blade, you cover the blade, you put the blade on the head, and then you put the head on the stand, and then you take the wire and then plug it and then put it on before it works. Let's say, for example, you don't even know how the fan is supposed to be coupled. So if, for example, you come to a house and then the blade is on the floor, if you do not know where the blade is to be plugged to and tightened, you will not be able to fix it. What that means is that you should already know how something works, that is, have that user experience of it before you know how to fix it. Because it's only if you know how it is for us to say it is working, that's the only time you can fix it when it is wrong or when it is bad. So that's the idea. That's why we would start from the user experience, right? Or user experience. Then we'll now start talking about administering Teams, right? So exploring collaboration and management features of Teams. If you talk about teams, you're not talking about anything other than collaboration. That's just the fact, right? Team, okay, or teams, as the name implies. So I'll just try to move on to how our agenda is going to look like. So as time will permit us, we'll look at the overview of Microsoft Teams, right? And then let me see if I can pick up some things here. Okay, so we'll look at the overview of Microsoft Teams, which already we're trying to drift ourselves into what it is already, right? Then getting started with Microsoft Teams, how do we get started with it? Then communication and collaboration tools within Microsoft Teams. Then we can talk about, when I say advanced, please don't give like a lot of, don't loud the advanced. So we'll just look at some user features that you will see on Teams, and then we'll look at the administration and management of Microsoft Teams just a bit. How does it look? Then we can talk about the best practices and the tips that you just need to take note of. So this is going to be like the base of our conversation today. All right. So overview, what is Microsoft Teams? So we are going to be a bit academic in our conversations now. So Microsoft Teams serve as a central hub for collaboration. So when people define Microsoft Teams, they just, one thing that should not leave is collaboration hub. Now, what does it do? It brings people together from various, together the various tools and then features for effective teamwork. What does this actually mean, please? I would like to break it down because it says it brings people together, right? Or brings together various tools. And then these tools come with features. For example, if you've created a team, you can integrate applications like OneNote. You can even bring, what's it called? Whiteboard, bring planner, we have a lot, right, that you can bring into Teams while you work together with your colleague. Then you talk about the workplace chats. Like I told you, one of the commonest things that the platform include workplace chats feature that facilitate real-time collaboration among team members. So you can really, one of the commonest use of Teams is chats, okay? The Microsoft Teams offers seamless video meeting capabilities, enhancing virtual face-to-face interaction. So just like your video calls on WhatsApp, you can do video calls or video meetings in Teams. One point that is missing here is the calling. So you can actually make audio calls, right? And then not to make things confusing, but just to mention it from the get-go, right? That you have calling feature in Teams. You have two types of calling, right? So you have the audio call that you make. You can have a call that you use somebody's email address to call. And you can also have a call that you can call somebody's phone number, right? That is, you can from Teams dial my MTN line and call me if you are enabled for that type of calling feature called PSTN. So for calls, it's not my intention to create any kind of confusion, but I just wanted to know that there's video meeting, which can be like the one we are having and turning on our video. They can be like call, that is a one-on-one call, right? And that one-on-one call can really be two types. You can call using the person's email address, and that is called SIP call, okay? And then you can also call my MTN line, which is called PSTN call from Teams if you are enabled for it, PSTN. I will tell you what PSTN means. PSTN means Public Switch Telephony Network. So you can call from Teams to, say for example, you have a friend in the US, right? Before the advent of WhatsApp, you have to make international call, long distance calls, right? So instead of you making international call and paying MTN that amount of money, if you are enabled for PSTN calling, you can use your PSTN call, dial the person's phone on Teams, and then call the number directly. Okay. But that is for later discussions. I just wanted you to know that you can call with Teams. Then file storage and integration. Teams allow for integration of file storage and application compatibility, streamlining teamwork. I will try to explain this to you because this is the most confusing part of Microsoft Teams. Yes, a part of what confuses people is, for example, if A sent a call to B, right? And this call is recorded. Remember, it was A that initiated the call to B, and the call was recorded. The recorded call is in MP4 format. Okay, MP4 format. Now the question is, where is this call going to be saved? Just in case A is looking for the conversation she had with B, right? So the recording is going to be saved on A's OneDrive. So OneDrive and SharePoint is the next topic that will come after this training. Just take note and keep this in the heart of your hearts, that Teams calls recorded are saved to individuals' OneDrive. But again, if I schedule a Teams meeting, if I schedule a Teams meeting from my calendar, which we are going to see later, and the call is recorded, because I were the one that scheduled the meeting, the recording will be saved to my OneDrive, right? Now, if the call was scheduled from a Teams channel, you're going to see what those terms are: Teams channel, private channel, standard channel, and so on. If it was organized from channel, Teams channel, the call will be recorded to the corresponding SharePoint sites. So that's why I say this part is like one of the most confusing part, because when you are looking for a recorded call, which can be referenced for any reason, then you should know who scheduled the call and what type of call, where was that kind of call initiated. If it's a meeting from calendar, then it's on OneDrive of the organizer. If it's a one-on-one call, then the person who started the recording will have the recording on his OneDrive. Then if it is a meeting from channel, which you're going to see, it's going to be saved to SharePoint. So what I just want you to know is that Teams does not have its own storage, right? It leverages on OneDrive and SharePoint to save the files. So on a one-on-one chat from A to B, there can be need for a file to be uploaded from local PC, uploaded to Teams chats, right? When that upload is done, Teams does not have its own storage, but it will be uploaded to the OneDrive of A shared with B, depending on the access level A gives to B while sharing the file. So in all these, when we go into SharePoint after the Teams class, you would understand the permission levels. But I just wanted to know that one thing you should have at the back of your mind: Teams does not have its own storage, but leverages on SharePoint and OneDrive for storage. Please take note of that. Now, key features and functions. So, threaded conversation allow user to engage in organized discussions. So, see, this is an organizational chat, right? It's not just going to be, anyway, it still does not match it. You know, when you are on a WhatsApp chat, right? And then A sends a message. If B wants to reply to A, he will slide it and then reply to that particular message. Now, what happens if C wants to react to the same message? So they just keep going up and down, and then there's a lot just happening. But there's a threaded conversation that can happen in Teams where in a Teams channel, which I will show you later, you can decide to create a topic and all the responses are going to be lining up within that first initial conversation to show that if another topic is to be discussed, you can respond to the next topic to be different from the previous topic. What this means is that there is an advanced level to which Teams files are organized compared to what you can have on the conventional WhatsApp chats. So threaded conversation just simply means topical conversation, topical discussions. Let's say, for instance, it is the first conversation was issue with Teams, was just what you raised, and all the suggestions would be under issues with Teams. If another person had come up with, say, trip to Enugu, then that next conversation, everything that will under it will just be trip to Enugu. So if another person joins this conversation here now, you can decide to see if you want to respond to the Teams issue, you come under this thread, respond. If you want to talk about trip to Enugu, you also come here and have a conversation. Just so that if the next person comes into this chat, you already have known the conversation happening for this topic, right? That is issue with Teams, right? And then also know like a different trail of conversation that is going on as it has to do with traveling or trip to Enugu. That's the point I'm trying to raise. So if you see the word threaded conversation, that's what that means. So that they can be, conversations can be organized in topical formats. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? Of course, I've said this over and over that you can do video conferencing, right? It will look like a face-to-face meeting. You can decide to use virtualized environments, can blow out your space, and then all of that. You can also notice that there are media, like maybe I'll use the opportunity to talk about the media in Microsoft Teams. One, you have video calling, or let's say you have audio calling, you have video calling, and then you have screen sharing. Okay. These are three media in Teams. Audio, you can call audio call, you can do a video call, and then you can do screen share. And then you can do all of them together on the same call, just like we're having two features of this now. We're having an audio call because my camera, I've turned it off. Then we have the video calling, which is like the second feature there. And then we have the screen sharing. So if I want to enable my video, so that my background may not be very, very bright at the moment, yeah, you would see that you can now see me. What this means is that I have my audio because you can hear me now. You have my video because you can see me, right? And then you have the screen sharing happening on this call. So I've been able to cover the three media in Microsoft Teams as I speak now, having my screen, having my audio, and having my video all together. I hope this is making sense to somebody. And now I've turned off my video. What this means is that you are focusing on two of these media, which are one, you have the audio, and then you have the screen share. So this is possible. But of course, bandwidth has to be considered. That is, the three can go, but they are prioritized. If we're having a call and I turn on my video, I'm doing a screen share, right? I'm doing also an audio call. If my network goes my network goes bad, my video can go off. You may not be able to see my video, but my screen is prioritized. You'll still be able to see my screen, and you will still be able to hear my voice. When it goes worse, what will happen is that my screen sharing session will terminate, or it will freckle. You can no longer see it clearly, but my voice will manage to go through. If it is now worse, that it can no longer go on, like the worst scenario is for the voice to also cut off. So what I mean is that there are level of priority to the media in Microsoft Teams. What is prioritized over others is the voice. That's one. What follows thereafter is the screen share. And then the last in priority is the the video. So that's how it works. So there can be collaboration or collaborative document editing. See, one very sweet thing that SharePoint has been able to help teams to achieve is that, do you know that we can be anywhere across the world so long we have access to the internet? And the good thing about cloud computing is that we can have a document, one document, and then we can have as much as 250 of us working on that same document in real time from different locations across the world, right? So collaborative document editing, allowing multiple users to work on the same document simultaneously. So of course, these are features that you cannot at the moment at least have in your WhatsApp. I was trying to tell you that there are some advanced features, right? But we have to start from what we know to what we want to learn, right? So, and this has improved teamwork and productivity. Let's say, for example, you have a team and then you have Excel sheets that has different, what do they call them? Workbook. Is it workbook they call them? Yeah, and then everybody can just be on those different portion of the Excel. And then we are moving on and collaborating at the same time. We can even decide to be typing on the same Word document at the time, depending on how we have organized to do that, right? So Teams has brought that, but that's not possible without the power of SharePoint. So that's to be said, very important. Now, there are integrations. You know, the good thing about Microsoft 365 is that it's so tightly integrated that Outlook and Teams speak to each other. Now, if this is Teams, right, and this is Outlook, if I am offline and then you do like at mention my name on Teams, I will have an email sent to me that I will see the message, I will see the preview of the message. After I will see the entire message that you sent to me in Outlook, showing that a team member, that's how the message goes, a team member, this is trying to reach out to you on Teams, and you see the message in Outlook because they are tightly integrated. Now, if you go to Outlook, if you go to Teams and you schedule a meeting in calendar and you go to Outlook, you will see it in Outlook. If you schedule from Outlook, you will see it in Teams because they are tightly integrated. Now, I'll just come to my slide and so that I don't drift away from what I want us to have as a conversation today. Integration within or with other M365. Microsoft Teams actually provides a seamless experience by integrating with various M365 services, accessing tools effortlessly. So users can easily access tools, files across different Microsoft services without switching platforms. In your Teams, you can use OneNote, you can use, just name all the applications that you want to use. You can just bring them into your Teams. You can bring your website into your Teams just to add it as a link. You can bring your YouTube channel into your Teams if that is what your team is using to watch videos. You don't need to get out of Teams for you to watch YouTube. Right inside Teams, you can watch your YouTube. So you can bring in a lot of things. So enhance collaboration. The integration foster collaboration among team members by allowing them to share and work on files in real time, which is more like what we said earlier. But I must mention this today, that Exchange is what helps Outlook to provision calendar, right? So Outlook, right, is actually the owner of the calendar that Teams borrows from. Okay, so Exchange gives Outlook the calendar feature, and then Teams borrows calendar from Outlook. Okay, I can see that Teams is not even standing on its own. Teams has to speak to OneDrive, has to speak to SharePoint. If you need calendar, it has to speak to Outlook, and Outlook has to get the calendar feature from Exchange because it is the server, right, or Exchange Online. So that's how these integrations are. That's why while you want to say that you will learn M365, you focus on Exchange or you focus on Teams or you're going to focus on SharePoint, there is need for you to have like a basic understanding about these technologies so that you will be able to troubleshoot issues. Don't say I hate Teams, just like most of my friends will say. I don't like anything. That's on our Teams. That's what my friends always tell me. That's on our Teams. So don't speak that way, like my good friend. Embrace it and don't run away from it, because in one way or the other, you will still need to reference it in other kind of conversation. Now, getting started with Microsoft Teams, how do we even start? We've been linked by now. People who do not know what Teams is would have known what it is by now. But then, how do we even start? What is this Teams? If I were the one learning this in the first time too, if I hear a tutor saying a lot about this application, I will want to see how that is. How do we even start? An account would have to be created for you, right? So you can create an account through your organization or by using a personal Microsoft account or for account for Teams access. So there is this to mention that there is Teams, just like you have Outlook for personal, you also have Teams for personal accounts, and then you have organizations Teams. But the one that we are concentrating on in the course of this training is not the consumer Teams. So there is Teams for consumer, right? And there is Teams for business. Let me just put it that way, or enterprise Teams, business Teams, right? Now, your admin would have created an account for you, right? And then you go either to the web. If you are going to the web, you are going to teams.microsoft.com for the business Teams, right? You are going to Teams on the web now. You should go there, put teams.microsoft.com. It will lead you to a place where you need to authenticate, put in your username, put in your password. Of course, you know what authentication is. So your admin would have created an account for you and then give you a username, give you your password. And then you go to teams.microsoft.com and type it on your favorite browser, or open the Teams application. You could go to your store, your app store on your mobile phone, or go to your Microsoft store on your device, your PC, or if you are using Mac, as the case may be, you can get the app from the App Store, or you can access it on the web. After creating an account for you as an admin, then you will need to authenticate to access all Microsoft functionalities of Teams. So you need to do this, and then you hit on sign in, authentication, and then you are authorized to get in, if and only if you are given the license to access Microsoft Teams. You can have an account to access office.com, but if you are not giving Teams access, you can even have access to Outlook, right? You will not have Teams access. And I must say this, if you are given Exchange license that gives you access to Outlook, for instance, you don't have Teams license, you will not be able to sign in to Teams. You have an error, right? That error I covered in my YouTube channel one time, trying to see a user who does not have Teams attempting to sign in. Then, but if you have, I must mention this, but if you have Teams license and you do not have Exchange Online license, you will not see calendar in your Teams when you sign in. Remember that the calendar you have in Teams is being given to it by the Exchange license. So if you do not have Exchange license and you have Teams license, yes, you'll be able to sign into Teams, but you will not see calendar. Take note of that. Now, accessing Teams feature, once you're authenticated and then you're able to get in, authorized to get in, you can explore available features and tools in Microsoft Teams effectively. I hope you know how to get started now. Now, navigating the Teams or the user interface. There is sidebar, there is central area for conversations, there is setting management, and all of that, which if I start to go into this, it will be boring because I know that you would like to see those in practice. Joining and creating teams. Of course, users can seamlessly join existing teams that align with their projects or interests, fostering collaboration right? But I must mention here, joining existing teams. Please listen. There are two types of teams. Teams in teams are two types. You will see why people don't like this, but I want you to like it. Teams. You have two types of teams. You have public. You have public, and then you have private. Private, I'll just use PROV. Okay, please take notes. The only one you can join, right, are the public teams. You can also join private teams, but only if they give you the access code or if the owner of the team invites you, is it invite or add you to the team. So you have two types of things. So the particular team that is being described in this is a public team. Within your team, you have private team. I hope that is making sense. And then you have the ability to create teams by default. When you create team, you can decide what type of team you are creating, whether you're creating public or private. But you have learned about groups. Now see where it is. Whenever you create a group, right? No, whenever you create a team, an M365 group is created alongside. So let's say, for example, you have 50 employers and maybe those 50 employers are on this call and they are very excited about this learning. And after this whole thing, they know how to create team now. They all sign into teams and they create one team, right? If they create one team, what it means is that our number of group in M365 has increased by 50 because they created one team. And Augustine appreciates the fact that he was able to create a team and is very excited. And he creates another two. And the other guys too, they were playing. They also created extra two. I mean, everybody. What that means is that we are going to have 100 M365 groups again added to what? To 50 to make it 150 because they have been able to create 3 groups each. I mean, 3 teams each of them. So at some point, when you allow this to be happening, your environment becomes proliferated with a lot of group M365 groups, which can be unmanaged, or you can lose track of this number of groups that you have in your environment. Because of this proliferation, especially, admins have decided, or best practice would be that the people that will be able to create team should be restricted. So, but then by default, you will be able to create new team. But just remember the implication of creating team. You are creating M365 groups. I'll leave it there. Then what does it do actually when you're able to join and create team? It actually fosters collaboration, right? Among team members, keep them motivated and then involved in their task. That is if they don't get distracted, right? Okay. What do we have next? Communication and collaboration tools in your team's application or in your teams. Of course, we've mentioned before that you can do DM or direct message. You can share your files, your video files, your audio files, your text files, name it, can be shared, right? Okay. You also have group chats. This is another point that confuses people. And please do not allow it to confuse you. There is a difference between group chat and a team. There's a difference between a group chat and a team. These are just those elementary things that make people get disgusted about how things are separated in teams, and they were just like, that's on our team, right? But if you understand the basics this way, you will not be thrown off balance. Just you'll be able to explain it deeply. But I will explain to you now. For a group chat, now you see what the scenario I displayed to you, that Augustine created a team. He was happy, keep creating, and they keep on creating more M365 group. If an admin decides to block team creation because of that problem, you will still be able to create group chats. How does group chat work? Group chat is a chat that you initiate, and then you later add people to it. And a group chat, the last time I checked, could contain up to 250 people. So what it means is that you can have 250 people added to a group chat. But do you know one thing? Group chat does not create M365 group. It lives and dies on your Teams app. All right. As a matter of fact, group chat is not visible in the admin center. So an admin cannot even manage a group chat. Okay. But a team, when you create a team, I just hope that somebody doesn't get confused. When you create a team, channels are created alongside with it. It's a group chat. You create a chat. You add 249 people to yourself. You can add 1, 2, 3, 4, as the case may be. Okay, let me leave it there. If you create a team, remember there are two types of teams. You can have private. You can have private, and then you can have public. Of course, you know the differences now. Get ready for something that looks a bit confusing, but simple. When you are creating a group, a team, we've left group chats. When you are creating a team, you can create either private if you want it to be secluded to certain people. You can decide to add people to it as an owner of the team. We'll talk about owner and members of the team later. Then you can make it public that anyone who is willing to can join. Simple, right? Then the team is like the house. The team is like the house. Of course, within a whole house, right? Within a whole house, just pardon me to manage with this. I don't want to use OneNote. I mean to use board. Let's just be managing with this because I don't want to jump from one point to the other. A team is a house. And what makes up a house is that if you enter into a house and this is a window, this is another window, what that means is that there are apartments within the house. One, there can be a restroom. Restroom is supposed to be private. Local, we're talking about this is the team. This whole house is the team that you've built. And you are creating this team. You didn't call it a private team because you want anybody to join. You make it a public team. Let's say as it's supposed to be, National Assembly is a public building. That means it's the People's Parliament. People can come in. It's a public house. It's a team meant for everyone. But the fact that you've entered into the People's Parliament, they have restroom. And in the restroom, they drew male. And then another restroom, they drew female. What that means is that in as much as you have the right to enter into the people's parliament, you also need to know that when you go into the restroom area, there is a part for female and there is a part for male. That means there is already a restriction. Does that stop that building from being a public building? No. Now, if I'm trying to look for a female on the call, hopefully Oluwatosin, okay, let me pick a male's name. Let's say Augustine, yes to the male, the one that drew male, right? And then he suddenly meets the door is locked. He cannot force himself into it because that means there is somebody inside that restroom at that point. But if Aisha, for example, is going into that restroom area, she has restriction to go into where he sees that it is the male restroom. She has to go to the female restroom. If it is open, then she can enter. If it is locked, then she can wait for the person inside to come out. The reason I'm trying to paint this scenario in our head is because of the confusion that comes when we see private channel and standard channels. Okay. Now, in your team, terminate your reasoning here with private and public is the team, is the house, is a public building, the people's parliament. It's different from Joseph's apartment. If you are coming here, you have to be coming under invitation, right? Because it is my house. My name is tagged here. Something must be inviting you, relationship, business, or something must be bringing you. But here you can decide to go there and just chill. Now, inside of this house, there are now different rooms for different purposes. So what that amounts is that we have different segments. The same way, even with public or either whether it is public or private team, you now have what is called channels. Channels, you have the private channel. I told you to leave what you've seen about private team, right? We are now talking about channel. Private channel is available both for public team and private team. Private channel, you have no longer not, as you see private, the next thing that will come to your mind is the type of channel again should be what? Should be public. No, it is standard channel. So you have the team. Inside the team, which is like the parliament, you have private apartments, which are like the restroom, and then you have the standard apartments, which is for everybody. But you have what is called the shared channel. Shared channel. Okay, I will come back to my parliament. Now, these are channels, which are like the apartments, right? Channels within the team. Within the team, whether you are doing public or you are doing private, right? All of them have the capacity of having these partitions inside of them, private, standard, and shared. Now, how do I explain private and standard? You would have come into the house, right? You would have been inside the house before you can access the restroom or access the living room, which is the standard channel. The shared channel is like an attached building that you do not necessarily need to be a member or enter into the house before you can access the attached building. So a shared channel, now, for you to be a member of a private channel or a standard channel, you must first of all be a member of the team. But you can be added as a member to a shared channel without you being a member of the team. All right. So there are audios and video calling, high quality, seamless virtual meetings, talk about screen sharing, which I've explained earlier, then file editing and co-editing, which is the co-authoring that you are going to be taught in the later conversation. I would like to end my slides here and let's get into the conversation for the day. I will end my slideshow. This card. Okay. So unfortunately, I was trying to sign into a particular device that we would use to do a demo. Let me see if I can still get in there quickly. portal.azure.com, because I just want to have a device that I can use to show you something. But even while that is trying to come up, I don't think I have like a lot to show you there. I will bring up my in private. Somebody's hand is up, and that's Charles. Can you drop your question on the chat if you meant to speak to us? Let me check. I think it was actually a long talk already. So Aisha, please look at the chat. If there's anything urgent that we need to respond to, I think I've spoken for like close to an hour. I can really have a conversation with the person before we move on. I don't know if Charles wanted to speak. Charles Nzan. Okay, so getting started that we looked at, right? If you do office.com, if that's with the URL you are so comfortable with, what will happen is it will give you option to sign in, and then you hit on sign in. Right. Okay, and then ideally you will get in here, and then I'm just going to do admin dots concepts dots com.ng. That's my main provision. I mean, providing my admin. Oh, sorry, I didn't put at here. I put it dots. So that's my email address, right? The next thing it's going to tell me is to put in my password, right? So I'll do. So that's me signing in. Yes, it's me. And then I get it. So this is one of the ways that people access the admin center, right? Why are you reloading? Let's wait. Okay, cool. So now you can see down here apps, right? So if I click on apps and I say more apps and I say all apps. Now these apps, of course, when we're taught user provisioning, we're told how these apps come to exist in my accounts. So one of the things that is there is this one, which is the Teams, right? So to tell you how wide M365 is and why you should tighten your belt and be sure that you are in the right place, you have all of these, just bookings, calendar, Clipchamp, name them, all of these are here. They are applications that you can really dive into and understand how it works. And if you work in a school, whiteboard is your friend, right? But that's not what we're here for today. So you see, this is Teams, like one of those applications. If I click on it, it will take me to teams.microsoft.com. This is the URL that I told you. So what that means is that instead of going through office.com, I could also go through teams.microsoft.com, and then I'll be able to sign in. That's what I want you to take note of, right? And then while in Teams, now it's loading, there is also there's also the Teams application, okay? So there are just some private thing in my Teams app that I wouldn't want to display up here. That's why I was trying to access one of my VMs that I can allow for public recording. So, but for now, from what we want to do, no much difference between what we are going to have on the web than what we have on the app. But just note that. Now, if you want to get the Teams app, where do you go? Just type Microsoft Store on your PC. There's a Microsoft Store, not Word. Don't mind that. I'm gonna do it again. Microsoft Store. Am I not able to type anymore? Microsoft Store, come on. Okay, so just type Microsoft Store. I don't know why it's trying to act up for me. And then you would see an option to search for apps. Just type Teams and you will see the blue application like this one on my taskbar that you can. So most people would just say, is it not Teams? So why are we stressing ourselves with a lot? But I want to walk you through let me see if I can start on my VM also. Just hold on. This is not part of the training. I'm just trying to see if we can also have the app to look at. I'm trying to look at host 0. Okay, let me see if I start one of these my hosts. Okay, so let that one be starting. So if you come to look at the app, this is the meeting that is currently going. I'm signing on the web. You can see you have 151 people. If I check here as well, I should see about that number of people here. And it's just telling me to join if I want to join here, right? I mean, I think these people plus 60 as the case may be. So it's just here. So I'm here now, and then on this bar, right, you have the notification. So people like me who are not always observant sometimes will not look at what's happening in an activity. So if you are in a team where you will notice your missed calls, where you were mentioned, I mean, a lot, right? Can you see this? I was mentioned here, the notification comes here. If you have like a missed call, this is the first place you look at. So if you are working in a firm, the first thing you will look at when you stepped out and then you back is to look at the activity bell. If you have any, like I had some few items here, please go and check just so you don't miss out on anything. The next one is the chat icon. So this chat icon keep changing. Before now, there used to be Teams after this. But now you can see we have unread. Unread is like for messages that I've not read, right? Can you see this? Then you have channels. So channels is where you actually have your teams, right? If I have a list of teams, then those teams are going to be lined up here, right? And then on the web is a bit different. If I want to create team, you can see join team, new team. New team is where you create team. So that's where you see under channels. And that's why I wanted you to see what channels are. Chats is, if I were having a one-on-one rapport with people, this is where you would see those chats. Increase the fonts. Okay. My font is very big. Oh. I hope my font is better now. Okay. So, and then the next thing is meeting charts. So if there were charts, like, can you see this? These are going to be categorized. Yes, Andy. Are going to be categorized under charts. You can see the message I got from this guy just now, Sunday, right? And then please can you encode, these are going to be categorized under meeting charts. Of course, we're in a meeting, right? So since you said you can create him, you also create group in M365. Can't you delete the group in M365 if the group become too many? Yes, of course, you can delete group, but when you delete the group, the team will also go along with it. Is it possible to integrate an IMAP with Teams calendar for M365 app for business? Yes. And these are the charts that we have here. Please stop filling out the wrong attendance. These are charts that you should probably unpin the link. Then, these are the conversations that we are having. And since I've been joining this meeting with this account, all these are the conversations that we've been having in the past that we can reference to. Can you see? So that said, right, that's about charts. And then the next and very big topic here is so if you check very well, you see the combination of all those. You see me having. I just want to walk you through what we have here before we can come back to specifics, right? Then the next tab you will see is calendar. Like I told you, for the calendar feature, this calendar can load and then it will fail. If it fails, it can be an issue that you are trying to solve. Like I illustrated the issue of the fan. If you do not even know how the calendar looks, or if you do not even know that when you click here, you're supposed to see the calendar feature, and then the user is reaching out to you, or we see you all as IT admins. If you are not already an IT admin of the nearest, very closest future. That is, you're already an IT admin, as a matter of fact. If you're able to go through all the classes that we've had, it means that you're already getting your hands on a lot that IT do on day to day. So now you will see the calendar here. You know how it is. You know that, hey, you click on here, you can decide to come here and say, okay, do you know the kind of calendar you want to see is only, let's say, for example, a user is telling you that you cannot see the schedule for tomorrow being Monday, right? And then if you do not know that it is because this is just showing day, and then, or for example, it shows work week, and then the user has a meeting scheduled for Saturday, and it does not see them in the calendar, right? Without you knowing that if you do not put it in in week, you will not be able to see Saturday. Let's say, for example, I'm looking at this Pillars Concept 2024 project, right? Microsoft Teams meeting that was scheduled for Saturday. And then the user is looking for that particular meeting. And then it's trying to tell you that I'm looking for that meeting. And then his calendar is probably like this. So because you know the fan leg is at the leg and then the blade is supposed to be between the baskets and the front basket has to be on the floor, you tighten the back before putting the front one. And so but you just came and then you saw baskets on the floor and then the blade is somewhere lying on the floor. Before you can reassemble the fan, you must have at least have an idea how it looks. Or you must not, but you should know how to go search for an idea on how to resolve that issue. So you now say, hey, you are looking for a meeting for, okay, let's say this is Saturday because I did day and it's just coming to this particular day being Saturday, right? So what if this meeting was like on Monday and then it's just seeing this and say, hey, I can't even know my schedule for the week. So if you come here, you can decide, oh, do you know what? Let's do it in a week. And then you can really see your month Sunday to Saturday. I don't want to see don't have any activity for the weekend. Just let it be a work week, and then you can see Monday to Friday. Then what about you want to see month's calendar? You can see like the whole month calendar, right? So this will make me see like how busy I am. You see that I'm having a recurring meeting for Sundays from beginning to the end, and then Saturdays as well. I have from beginning to the end, right? And then it shows that all this calendar year I'm free, so I can really see my calendar. But you can come in here and you see no calendar, right? One of the reasons why you would not see calendar is if you do not have the Exchange Online license, you will not be able to see this calendar, right? So now the next point that goes is the calling feature. So if okay, let me just let me show you something. iPad in Microsoft Teams. Today I'm just going to be walking you through what you can see really. I'd like to show you this. Can it just open and be big? Can you see this? It's still call, but this is not even what I want to see. There's something I want to see specifically. Let's see if this is going to show me what I want to show you. Still not showing me. Still not showing me. I want a situation where so if you have this diepad and you have a phone number assigned to you, you have the phone number listed below it, right? And then you can decide to call 0805634 this, and then you call and your MTN number rings, right? So the diepad can be used just like a typical phone to make a call to a phone number. You can also type name and group to dial number from your teams. You go to call and then you enter the number of the question you want to be asking yourself is, I've signed into Teams, why can't I see those options, right? So what is here is that I am only enabled to make calls using email addresses because I do not have the required license to be able to have those diepad. So if this is not going to be too advanced at this stage, it means that this account is not enterprise voice enabled. So what it means to be enterprise voice enabled is that I have the option to call out using the PSTN functionality of Microsoft Teams. I hope that's not too much. But how do I call now that I do not have diepad? I can call people through their email address, and that is what is called SIP or SIP, or Session Initiation Protocol call. So if it is people within my organization, I can search for them using their names. The same way I can search for them here, the same way I can search for them here. Okay. Let's say, for instance, I want to call Oluwagbemika. So if I search for that, I will see him and I will click on this. I will hit on call. And this is just going to ring him. And then it picks and then we can talk. The same way too, I could come here and say, Oluwagbemika. So what is this doing? It's going to the GAL, what they call the global address book, to go and pull out this guy for me to be able to call, right? But if I want to call you, that is not an organization, I must enter your full email address. If you look at this guy, for instance, if I bring his account up, you can already see that we've shared file, right? We've shared file with each other. So he sent this file to me. What that means is that we can share file among ourselves. Now the question is that where is this file saved, since Teams does not have the functionality for storage? It is saved to his OneDrive and shared with me. So depending on the permission it gives me, if it gives me the option to be able to download, I can download the documents. If it says I can only view but not able to download, I would only be able to view. Right? That's for that. Now, if you look at his domain, of course, you know what domain is at pillarsconcept.sites, right? I can also do this email address and put it up here, and then it will bring him up. This is the only way I can reach out to people who are outside of my organization, except they are saved as contacts in M365. Otherwise, I would have to type in their full email address, and that's the only time I can call them. Make sense? So that's for calling, right? So inside of Teams, of course, like I told you, the integration to other applications, you can see the OneDrive app. right? This is OneDrive on the web. So without leaving Teams, I'm able to see my OneDrive, go to my files. I will see my files inside, right? And there is a folder that is default folder called recordings. So if I make calls, one-on-one calls, and record those calls, they are going to get saved into my recording folder, right? These are the trainings that I had. Fundamental training day 1, fundamental training day 2, Exchange server day 1, and all of that. These are trainings that I have recorded. So if I click on any of them, this meeting was in May 2023. You can imagine, right? So if I go here now, it will load up that link and then give me the ability to watch the meeting that I have done since 2023. So because I have set it that my recording should not expire, okay, it is just going to be there. So it's loaded for me now. So what I will do is I can just decide these were my trainees that I was, right? These are trainings that I had since 2023. You can imagine it's still intact. Now that's why I would now ask myself, where is, I don't know when, maybe it's possible for applications like what's it called, WhatsApp to measure up with this. And if you check the URL, the link to this video, you will see that it is pillars concepts mysharepoint.com personal, right? Admin at pillarsconcepts.com.ng. This is the URL. So what is this telling you? That this is saved to, you can see my.sharepoint.com. Don't worry, this is going to be taught. But what this means is that the storage, remember we came from Teams, but the storage is in where? Is in my.sharepoint, which means on my OneDrive. Okay, so you can see meetings that are recorded just since that time, 2023, January 12th, is still there. And I can go back there and decide to download them, and they are going to be in MP4 format. Okay, so this is because this meeting was scheduled from my calendar and I have recorded them. Now, what happens if the meeting was scheduled from channel? They will be saved to corresponding SharePoint sites. Okay, but that's not where I'm going to. I was just trying to show you that from your Teams, without leaving Teams, you can easily, get into your OneDrive. I'm telling you about the integrations that are happening there. And then you can see that I have Copilot there. I know the good thing is that I also have this. Inside of Teams, I can decide to use my Word, my Excel, PowerPoint, Visio, Help, Shift, Clipchamp, Meet, just name it. Even third-party tools like Miro, then you can see others like that, right? I can decide to pin them to Teams just so they are easy for me. If I click on Add Apps here or App here, I can search for an application that I would like to pin, right? And I can search for the name. Let's say, for instance, I don't know why this is coming to my head, whiteboard. And then I can put in my whiteboard there and then open, and then open, and then you can see the whiteboard saying here. I can click on, right click on it and click on pin. So what that means is that this whiteboard is always going to be here. And you know the good thing about whiteboard is that this whiteboard, right? I can have whiteboard open while still in Teams. You can see, do you want to present or collaborate? Present whiteboard, only you can edit. Or do you want to collaborate? I want to collaborate. If you do not even click collaborate, you count down and enable and collaborate. I will take time to explain that to you. What does that mean? I'm still in Teams, right? But collaborate means that right now, if I click on this share, for instance, if that was in a group chat, in a group chat or in a Teams channel, people will be able to access it. If I copy this link now and I want to see what even really happens, I want to drop it on the charts. Try to open that link if you are on a PC. Excuse me. I'm just trying to show you like some features and the collab. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy that. The people in Pillars concept. Oh, people are choose. So I've said something that is going to restrict what I wanted to do. I thought I could share it with you to edit, but let's not get carried away. Now that I'm on what's it called, on whiteboard, I can really do a lot, right? Let's say we are doing designs, we can really do designs together, right? While on Teams, I can do like a lot of things to show you what I'm trying to connote or what I'm trying to describe, right? I can decide to put a video to read, can decide to put a comment on something and mention the person I want to call his attention to whatever that we are doing. And then there are just a lot that can happen, right, inside of Teams. You can decide to teach mathematics here. You can go as far as if this board is full, instead of you cleaning it, you can drag it, right? You can drag it. You can decide to put sticky notes that you want to put comments on, right? Put different colors of sticky notes, and people can really type. There are a lot of collaboration that you can see it's bringing up my name. Another person could actually have a link to this and type within the organization. You can see, you can react to what somebody has done just to make sure that your heart felt to what the person has done, you like it. And then and you can also have text in between, right? You can write text in between. You can even try to do ink writing to teach mathematics, especially if you are using inbuilt pen or something, right? 2 + 2 is not 3, please, it's 4, even here too. So you can decide to do your ruler work to get like a straight line, and you see that. So you can do a lot when it comes to, you can do freehand sketch, you can do like a lot. We are just in Teams. So you can, within Teams, work with a lot of other applications, right? Without jumping out of Teams. Okay. So having said that, let us go back. Haven't seen forget about the admin. This admin is not going to be available to all of you, except you have the admin role. And what that means is that you can jump to admin center from here directly. Okay. This I've shown you the activity, right? So we'll just look at charts. Now, charts is like a very big guy when it comes to Teams. You can see this guy showing up here. New message. I can decide to start a new message from here. I can decide to search for someone. Let's say Precious, right? And good thing is that when you search for people, you can really see the organogram. Like from here, you can see the office location of this person, just in case you are in a multi location organization, the department the person is, the job title of the person, of course, the email address. Then if there are possible LinkedIn matches, this is me speaking to people who think that LinkedIn is for play. Please, LinkedIn is like a hub for you to market yourself, right? So you can just imagine this is trying to give like a possible profile matches for LinkedIn. Just from Teams again, it's referring us to LinkedIn there. So try to, if you've not shaping your LinkedIn profile, I think that's going to form part of the last conversations of this whole mentorship training. You should please wake up. Also, if you check contact, this is where you can see the person's direct phone number And also, if there are details that were entered while the account was being created, like the work hours of this person is 8 to 5, just so that you will know in case you're in a different time zone and it's saying that I'm on the same time zone with this person. Because why? They use a location. That's where they bring in the time zone from. Okay. Then under organization is where you actually see the person's manager. If he's also managing people, you have the organogram building under this person, just so that in case you want to carry out any escalations. Then, of course, this is what I showed you earlier, the LinkedIn. These are possible Precious Kennedy on LinkedIn, right? These are possible people that could be bearing that name. And then you can choose the matching profile. So whichever profile really matches it, you can decide to go for it. So this is one of the ways to chat people, right? And just so before I forget, you can also have email address of an external user if the organization and your organization are set up to talk to each other via what is called federation. Yeah. So there can be open federation, that is, you are talking to the organization is talking to you, or closed federation where the organization is willing to talk to you, are not willing to talk to them, or the both of you do not want to talk to each other. So those we'll look at when we get into like the administration part of the whole discussions. Now, this is me chatting Precious. I can say hello, Presh. That's one. If I want to call her attention immediately, I can say hello. And then I say Precious. If I press the art button, it brings up the Precious here for me. Now, what happens or what's the difference here? I can really remove this first two just to make sure that I'm addressing her informally, right? What happens here is that this hello Precious that I just did is different from the first one, right? This one, since Precious is offline right now, if she is signed in to Outlook, this message she will see in Outlook saying that your team member, Joseph, is trying to reach you via Teams. You will see the message, hello, Precious. That is how tightly integrated Outlook and Teams are in terms of communication. Now, if I have this chat this way, and I decide to turn it into a group chat, right? You can see this plus here, view and add participants. Once I click on add, this is going to be turned into a group chat. Now, let's say I want to bring in somebody. You can see it says start a group chat. That's one. Second option, I can see this here, new message. You already tried to align this with your WhatsApp, right? Like I earlier created the premises. So let's click on this. It will just tell you enter name, right? I'm bringing Precious Kennedy. I'm bringing Oluwagbemiga. I'm bringing, okay, say let's say I'm bringing, I don't know who else is in the tenant. Let's say James, if I have any James. Okay, I don't think I have any James. Let me try to remember Vincent. Yeah, I have Vincent. So if I bring in Vincent into these conversations, that is what we are going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing something, right? What do I do? Just to make sure that these people get this, I will kind of say, now listen, I'll have to say hello, right? Just this first message is enough. But even if I don't type this first message, the group chat is still created, right? I can just come here and click on this pencil icon, right? And say projects March 2026. Let's say we have something like that. We save. So what this means is that this is Project March 2026, and how many people are there? 4 people. Now, look at it. Hello. How are you? If I put the art and I put everyone, what that means is that it's going to prompt and give them a notification up here, right? Now, look at it. Joseph added Precious Kennedy and 2 others to the chat. If there is now need for me to remove somebody, right, I can remove somebody. Do you know that this action to remove somebody, you can sign into Teams and you do not see it? An admin can really disable it for you, that you are not able to remove somebody from a group chat. I've seen this issue that I dwelt on for like some days before I discovered what happened. But that's not where we are dealing with. When we get to the advanced classes and troubleshooting stages, steps, we will look at this. But where I find interest is in adding people to the group. Let's say this group has been existing for like 1 month or 2 or more. And then there is need for us to add people. You have options. The group chat is going to be here. I can, if it's of primary concern to me, right? Oh, I thought I would see pin here. That's what I was trying to look for. I didn't see pin. Okay. So if I come to this add, and I'll go to add people, you see options that are coming on. Don't include chat history. What is this going to do? It is going to not allow people to see that person you are adding, not to see the conversations that were ongoing in that chat before he or she is joining. Let's say, for example, you've decided the fate of the person and then you are bringing, let's say HR. I know HR is the way they do their things. HR would have, I don't know how this is anyway, but let's say there was like a conversation that was ongoing between your HRs when you work, and then there was like a serious discussion about you, and then they want to bring it to a centralized place and inviting you to come, and then they want to like ask you to take the final decisions. They can decide to add you to these group chats, though they have discussed a lot about you before you came. You will not be able to see them. I'm just giving an instance. That's where you can say don't include chat history. Let's say, for example, there's another instance, try to build that in your head, that you want to say, okay, include history for the past number of days. I want to say, okay, do you know what? This chat has been existing for the past 60 days, but we want him to be able to see the chat for the last 30 days or the last 7 days. But now, what are the maximum number of days? I want to see that number. So there's a number that will be here is a lot of 9, right? I'm not sure why they're not giving me that error. All right, so you can decide to give like a specific number of days, 7 days, 5 days, and so on. You can decide to include all chat history. What that means is that all the conversations are not in secret. You should be aware of it. This happens, for example, you just join a group. You just get employed, and then you need to be added to a group, and then you also need to know what has been happening within the team, right? They can decide to include all chat history, but you must have to first of all search for the person that you want to add. Let's say this time I want to add Paul to the chats. So I'll just search for Paul. I'll pick him up here. I'm including all chat history this time. So this 7 days is immaterial because I'm picking the last option, not this one. If I pick this, then it's going to be 7 days. If I pick this, it's going to be, that is if they are up to 7 days chat. I'll click on add. That is one other way to have people. Now you can see what it's saying. Joseph added Paul to the chat and shared all chat history. Now let's add another person. Now, the way you do that is if you do at mention, before now it used to be to at mention somebody, but not like very, very recent, but not quite long ago. The feature to add someone using the at mention button just came in. Add someone to the chat. So you click on this, and I'm adding somebody. I don't want to include all chat history. My head cannot remember people that I have on this thing. But let's see if I see David. So David is here, and then I click on add. Now, what's the difference? David is added David to the chat. You can see that it did not say that. See, these statements that are here, this emphasis that are here, is just, I don't know how it is, for auditing purpose, right? So that people know what you have done, right? But since I did not, for security reason, this has to be announced. But since I did not share any history, you would have expected to see added David, but did not share chat history. It's not consent because it's looking at least privilege access in a way, right? Just say, okay, since it's just going to see from now and henceforth, it's fine. But let's see what experience we'll have if we wanted to add somebody and then we are using the add option and then we are bringing add someone. Let's just say we're adding the person and we're sharing chat of 3 days. I don't even know the person we're going to look for. Let's say Ahmed. No, let me not use Ahmed. That's not going to be like a good prompt on the guy. Do I know somebody? Samuel? Okay, yeah. So let me bring this guy in and then let me click on add. Now, is that person added? You can see this is not correct because I did not share all, right? This information is not correct. I'm sure that's one of those feedbacks that should be given to Microsoft, okay? But this is how you add people to group chat. Now, when you add people to group chats, what can they do? What can they do? You can do one-on-one chat, you can do group chats. Remember, even if your admin restricts you from creating team, which we're going to be looking at in our next session, then you can really create what's it called? Group chats. Now this group is here. You can see here it's called shared. So shared used to be called files, right? It was changed to shared, and from shared you now see files. Perhaps use statement because the group is not up to 3 days, but yeah, the argument makes sense, Bingo. Okay, so the argument makes a lot of sense, Bingo, honestly. Okay, so now coming to files, what it means is that I can decide to upload file directly from this device, right? I don't know if I have a file that I want to play with. Okay, this is big, right? Do I have one config MSP used? Let me just put a file. What is this picture? I don't know. Let me not display something that, anyway, I don't have bad things on my laptop. So I'm just uploading a file here. It could be actually a document, it can be anything within that team for us to see. The file should be uploaded now. So what it means is that I can see it, they can also see it. Okay. So just the same way I'm loading it. Oh, okay. It's actually a very nice image. So the same way I'm having the image here, somebody else can actually view the image from their side as well. Then we can decide to bring in a link that we are using, no websites. Trying to see, okay, now look at something here. We can decide to go to this create, right? And then if there's a particular YouTube channel that we always watch, I can decide to bring YouTube. If I click on YouTube and then it will just, I don't know why it's taking time to load though. So we can put, are you loading too long? Okay, so let me see. Let me just do website. I can do like a website, right? I don't know why that's taking time. So I will just bring up, let me just see. Let me just go to my YouTube channel. I think I can just bring the whole of this, Control C. And then I would put the URL here. Let me see. But it must be in the format of HTTPS. And then I will save. Oh, I can really give it a name. Apologies, I didn't take note of that. So if I come to websites, oh, sorry. If I come to website, add, and then I go to, I was supposed to do YouTube, I just trying to load for a while. I can just call it M365 trainings, right? And then I put the URL there. It's just to make sure that my team does not need to go and start searching for those link. They already have the name here. So what they just do is to click on it and straight from Teams, they just get right into where we do our stuffs, right? So the same way too, you can decide to bring applications that you both work on. Like I was mentioning the whiteboard, you can decide to bring, I don't know why this is trying to fail. I don't want to open show the app anyway. So we can actually, like the whiteboard now, can just be project planning. So everyone that is a member of that group chat we'll be able to see the whiteboard, and we can go there and take note of something. You can see within the group chats, you're having all of these, right? It's trying to populate that. We can decide to also bring like maybe forms. We can create a form and then bring that form up by like a website so that we keep filling the form depending on whatever you want to think about. We can even decide to bring a notebook, right? Show up anyway, a notebook, and then we can just see project notebook and something, right? Just to make sure that we are collaborating and working together on that without going out. I already have notebooks that are available within my tenants. I can decide to just have one of them added as the case may be, and everyone within the team, within that group chat will have access to it. So you'll see that these are not things that you want to do on WhatsApp. So, but that's what I'm saying, that you start from what you know to what we want to learn, right? So learn how to create an on-premises environment, create and sync users. So this is what that we're working on. And then they can really come in here, add sections, add pages to OneNote, and then we are just within teams, and then we are working together. Then if we want to follow up on people, you can see all these are populating here for them to be aware of. Okay. Then if I want to, I can see everyone. Make sure you update. Make sure you update the, what's it called? The project planning board before leaving. The project planning board before leaving this weekend. Something like this. Just, it's now you're out of your own, what do I call it? Creativity that you just, when you start okay, that if you are using this already, that you can, try to see how and what you can add to it. And if you've not started using the platform, you start checking what you would do if you are in maybe like a project manager or somebody, So this is how it works. Then if we want to make a call, we can decide to use this feature to do like a meet now audio call, right? I can also do a video call, right? So once you hit on this audio call, it rings everybody simultaneously, and then they will be noticing, and they will notice that the call is coming from the project March 2026. That's where it's coming from. So if there are files that are shared, if you want to see them separately, you can see the PNG file. So when we get to Teams, I will now show you what difference is there between the group chat and Teams, and how this operates, right? So you can see shared by, this is from my OneDrive. So if I go, I don't want to get anybody confused though. But if I go to my OneDrive, I'm going to see this file uploaded and shared, right? And every member of this channel, no, not channel, every member of this group chat would see that. So you can really navigate between chats to the shared, which is like the files in any forms, in any form. Then you have websites that will just, instead of going to the internet to go and, you can see a particular link that you want them to be able to see and just put it there. Then project planning board, and then you can decide to be adding other applications just so that your team remains on Teams without having to jump around everywhere, and then you can really keep track of what is going on. And that is what a group chat can do for a team. So we are just in chats, right? So God helping us, that will meet tomorrow, we can look at the team, right? Talking about team, creating a new team, and then we now talk about channels, and then types of channels in teams. Of course, there's public, there's private team, and then in channels there are private, standard, and shared channel. So we'll look at how those are created and how to use templates to create team depending on the requirements of your team. So we can keep talking and talking, but I want us to also keep to time. So I believe that someone has learned something from us today, and I want to hand over the microphone to Aisha because I know we have 10 minutes to round off. 10 or 9 minutes to round off. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you, everyone. Please appreciate Joseph with a clapping emoji or any other emoji of your choice. Thank you very much for that insightful session, for that really, really expository session. We will be going into the question and answer session. We have just a few minutes left, so please, I'm seeing just 3 people's hands raised, and the first person being Yadi. I will unblock your mic now. You can ask your question, but please let us just all be brief with our question and limit the questions within the scope of the discussion for tonight. Yadi, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Hear me?
Hi, yes,
Yeah,
can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, good morning from here. There's a little question I want to ask, okay, in this team. For example, now, because if I create a channel now, okay, and I name it a particular logistic or whatever, and I upload a file into that channel, okay, I upload a file. Where is that file actually stored? That is my question.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So what is there is, when we're having these conversations, you are speaking as one of those professionals already, and I appreciate that. There are always a mix of channel and teams. It's usually very confusing when we are having like deeper conversations. So channel is different. Channel is like a room. Talk about an ideal situation. You can't have a room without a house, right? So channel is like a room existing in a house, and the team is the house. Okay. So for every team you create, it will always come with a room, and that room is called general. Okay. That is called the general channel. So if the file you are up, if that team you created and it come with only the general channel, this you will see tomorrow, and you have only that general channel, right? Even though that name is now reserved, but it comes like a general channel. That channel has a SharePoint site that is linked to its backend. Okay, so if you upload a file to that channel that comes because you created a team, and the team created only that channel, and you upload to that channel, it will be sitting on the SharePoint site that is linked to that team. So when you create a team, right, you create a SharePoint site, you create an M365 group at the same time. So that file you upload is sitting on the SharePoint site that is linked to that channel that you're uploading the file to. Okay.
Okay.
I'll show
Thank
you
you.
that
So
tomorrow.
thank,
I'll show you that tomorrow. Yeah.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome,
Thank
brother.
you.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Thank you very much, Joseph. And we have Shegun Phillips, whose hand is also raised. I have blocked your mic. You can enable it and speak.
All right. Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it's been an insightful one. Even though we all use Teams, but there's a different perspective to Teams tonight. So my question is actually going to be on the PSTN, because I saw the dial pad, and I understand that for you to make a call with that, you need I'm actually a VoIP person, and you need what we call trunk. Trunk is what allows you to make call. Let's say, for instance, your PABX in the office, you used to make internal calls, and but for you to call outside the organization, you need what we call trunk. It could be from one of the service provider, MTN, Glo, and all of that. So I want to ask, for Teams to work, because
for the PABX, for the trunk to work with the PABX, there needs to be like a form of handshake. So how does Microsoft tie other trunk providers, that's the PSTN now, to Teams to make to enable us to be able to call from Teams and call mobile numbers, like my MTN, Airtel, and the likes. So how does the integration work? And who is to provide the solution, the trunk solution? Is it provided by Microsoft as well? Like, is it like Microsoft have an end-to-end solution, or it is going to ride on a provider outside Microsoft environment? And how does the integration work? Thank you.
The question looks like when it's jam. All right. So yeah. So what is there is that's from Shegun, right? So what is there is if you ask whether Microsoft provides or not. Now there are about 194 countries, yeah, that Microsoft provides telephony capability, right? So if you are going for PSTN options, you really have 3 options. One, you can be the one providing the trunk. That is what is called so you have first option that you have. Let me start from here. The first option you have is using Microsoft, and that's what is called Microsoft Calling Plan. Okay, so if you do not provide, if, for example, 2 reasons. One is if Microsoft does not provide that service within your country, you want to go for what is called Operator Connect. Operator Connect are organizations that are there that are providing the SIP trunk services, and then they provide phone numbers to customers. And Microsoft recognize them and integrate them into their admin centers. So if you go to the voice portion of the Teams admin center, you would have the Operator Connect. I don't want to go into the admin center now so that I don't get some people get tired of the whole thing. So you have the option, you have a list, including the Airtel that you just mentioned, including MTN, you will see them on that list. So if you go to admin.teams.microsoft.com, and then you, by the left-hand side there, you click on you click on voice. If you go down, you will see phone numbers. And if you go to purchase phone numbers, you would see a portion where you see a list of operators that Microsoft has granted license to provide those services to people. And then the third option is what is called direct routing, where you are going to be the one providing those services yourself, right? For a reason that maybe the Operator Connect does not cover within your own region, or you already have the facility to set it up yourself, and you do not want to rely on anyone, and your organization is that robust to run it, you can decide to set it up, and that is what is called the direct routing option, which you also see in the admin center. So Microsoft gives you the leverage to handle it yourself, or to go to trusted parties that they have approved and then have them integrated into the admin center. Or you can decide to go for Microsoft options if Microsoft covers you within the 192 countries, 192, but above 190, slightly above 190 countries that they currently offer the PSTN functionality. But if we must go deeper, if you want to use and have those features, you need extra licenses. The Teams Phone standard license is like you are obtaining a phone that after giving the user the standard license, which is the Microsoft Teams license, that the one I have, you now need a phone standard license assigned to that user obtaining a phone. Now, whether you go for calling plan is if you want to use Microsoft. If you want to go for Operator Connect, then you can meet the Operator Connect, which is going to provide the SIP trunk for you. And they will tell you all that is required, or you are setting it up yourself. Now, if you are coming to Microsoft to do it, now this is how it works. You have the local calling plan, you have the international calling plan, and then you have local, international. I usually call it local. I think they call
Joseph,
it domestic.
hello, Joseph. I hope you're not sharing your screen. I mean, you're not trying to show us your screen because you're not sharing.
No, I'm not sharing. So you
All
can
right.
have domestic calling plan. That's if you want to call locally. You can have international calling plan if you want to call out to other countries. And then you can have what is called pay as you go. But if you are not using Microsoft, then you are going to the Operator Connect, which is going to provide you those functionality. If you're not going through Operator Connect, you can also go use your own, and that is what is called the direct routing function. I hope that is able to give like a light to it to your question.
Yes,
As per who is
actually.
provided.
Yes, thank you very much. I think the
Alright.
popular one should be the Operator Connect, which is the one we can get from the regular providers we have in Nigeria. So that seems that sounds like a the option available to us, because at some of the services you see on Microsoft, sometimes I think majority of them, but sometimes you still have them not available in our country. But the Operator Connect you mentioned should be able to get that, and you mentioned Airtel to be one of them. So I think that's okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
okay.
very much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I think I'll take one or two in the chat area, even though we are just out of time. But somebody asked if is it possible to integrate an IMAP with Teams calendar for M365 apps for business license.
I think
just saw that.
I think that is yes, and I said yes to that earlier. So, but that I've personally not done, except there's anyone on the call that has that experience that want to share. But for me, I think the answer will be yes.
All right.
Okay.
Another question says that since you said you can create teams, you can also create groups in M365. Can you delete the groups in M365? The groups become too many.
So the group is actually what backs up the team. So if you delete the group, the team will also go.
All right. Thank you very much. I think with that, we can bring the session to a close. It's been a wonderful one with Joseph Afeso taking us through teams. And I want to believe that everyone would agree with me that it's been really, really expository, and we have all learned something from this session. At least I have learned something, right? And we want to say thank you to Joseph for coming and for sharing with us all of this vast knowledge, and taking your time to explain and break down every concept to us all. I also want to appreciate everyone who has taken out time to join this session tonight. I know we are all busy, but if you have been able to join this session, it means a lot. It must have meant a lot to you, and I want to believe that we have gained something really valuable from it all. On this note, I want to say to everyone, please have a very wonderful night. Till we meet again tomorrow, same time. Please enjoy your night. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
All right, guys. Bye-bye, everybody. See you again tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you.